In today's session, we will explore a little bit about existing reports. How to do some customizations. So, in today's case, we will do small change into an existing report. The existing report I will take in this training will be free text invoice. Free text invoice is a non-sales order based invoice which is issued to the customer. Sometime it is used for services rendered, or might be some of the products which are sold, or fixed asset which are disposed of, and against those free text invoices are issued to the customer when you don't have any inventoried item and you don't want to record in your inventory module. Otherwise you would have definitely a sales order, and against that sales order you will issue a sales invoice. So we will take a free text invoice in this example, and our target will be to print the amount in words. Normally amount is shown in figures or numbers. So what will be the main components which will we will need? Basically there will be three changes which we will need to do. First of all, there will be definitely, since this is a DP provider report, and normally most of the documents they have data provider based reports. So those involve temporary table to hold the temporary data in those tables, and then it is displayed. Whatever data is held in the temporary table, and that data is displayed in designs or layout of the report, and multiple layout can exist in an SSRS. So we will need to add the field into the temporary table. Sometimes there are multiple temporary table. One to hold the header information, which is a single information, and one temporary table is to hold line information. Since there can be multiple lines, in some of the document, the lines will mean the item and their quantity and the number unit, and the unit price, and line information will hold this. And sometime, for example, in free text invoice, there is no item, there is no inventory, but there will be certain amounts will be involved, and simple description will be involved. So there can be multiple lines also there. So normally in documents there will be a temporary table holding header, and there can be another temporary table holding the line information. So there can be multiple temporary table. So it means there can be multiple data sets in the SSRS reports. So one of the changes will be to introduce new field where we need to hold the information, and how this information will come. That calculation or business logic will happen in the DP class itself. That is data provider class itself. And whatever the business logic or calculation or the information retrieval will happen, or any query, or whatever the value, how you will retrieve it, or you will calculate some of the values sometime, then you will set that value into the temporary table. Once that is set in the temporary table, then definitely temporary table will hold a value. So then last step will be to put that field into the design of that report itself. So there can be three stage process. One will be the first of all introducing a new field, and once that field is introduced, then you need to retrieve the information and set that field with the correct value. And once that value is input, then definitely the new field need to be dropped into the design itself. So this is the normal process. But now, since we are using an existing report, and in the existing report we will need to do some additional work on the newly introduced field. So that additional work, definitely, since there is now no more overlayering in D365, so we will need to do some of the extensions. So in that we need to have a chain of command pattern, and chain of command pattern we will see how to do that. Chain of command pattern normally where it is used to augment certain existing class. Means if there is an existing method and you want to also write your own business logic into that, then you need to write this pattern by creating another class, and in that class that need to be declared as final, and then there need to be a certain skeleton which you need to use in order to do the chain of command. So in that class, the augmented logic or whatever logic you want additionally to use with the existing class, you can input that logic there. And then of course the method pattern, whatever the method you are you want to augment, you need to just write down, I mean, or copy paste the signature of the pattern, and then you need to use the next statement as well. And the parameters need to be the same as per the parent method. The parameters need to be same, and return variable or return data type need to be also same, and the method should return the method should return the same data type. So we will explore how to do that, because now in existing data provider that is of free text invoice, we will definitely need to set the amount in words field. So for that reason we need to use the chain of command pattern, which is used for augmenting an existing class. So let's begin with our this training video. I will launch the Visual Studio. So then I will need to create a new project. Give it a name, logical name like free text invoice. It will create a solution and the project itself. So now the solution and project is created. So now let me locate the report, and this report is not named with the prefix like cust, and you can see it is not here once I type the name. So instead it is simply named as free text invoice. So what we'll do, we will duplicate the report, because there is no modification allowed in the existing report. So we will again use print management to show our own custom report showing the amount in words. So what we'll do, we will duplicate in our current project. So the model information is shown that let me first duplicate it. Let me check the model. Model need to be correct one. So let me put model is just for new developers. Model is the logical grouping of multiple projects. So normally every time you create a project, ideally it should be a new model, but it depends upon, maybe interrelated projects can exist, coexist in the same model. So what we will do, we will duplicate the free text invoice, and this free text invoice is now copied here. So what I will do, I will prefix this with pkr prefix, and that's it. So let me open this report. You can see here there are three data sources or data sets, and there is one data set about the header or footer information, and on the right hand side in the properties you can see the DP class name is free text invoice DP dot free text invoice header footer temp. So this temp is basically temporary table, and before dot the name of class is mentioned, that is the data provider class to use for business logic, writing your own business logic or existing business logic. So the other one is related for localization, so ignore that one. And this one is free text invoice DP, the same class, but free text invoice temp. So this one is used for line level information. Means multiple line can exist in a free text invoice. So this table is used, this temporary table, to hold the information for the line, for the multiple lines or single line in a free text invoice. So now we have identified the temporary table, which is free text invoice temp for line and free text invoice header footer temp. So what we'll do, we will just extend the table in order to put our own field. So let me go to the data model node, and in the tables node, normally you can see the naming conventions. Dataset will hold the same in same name like a table name, but it will suffix with a ds, means dataset. So normally, in order for the developers to understand from which table it is extending, so they have put the same table name and just suffix of ds. So what we'll do, we will go ahead and find our table here, and our table is with this name, uh, free text invoice header footer temp. So what will we'll do, we will just right click and create extension. There is an option create extension in new project, but since we have already created a project here, so we will just create an extension for this table. So because of table inheritance, means one table has can have a child also. So because of that, we can extend the table and add additional fields into that table. So you can see here the already it has given the name like existing table name and the model name here. So we'll go ahead with that, and we will expand the fields node here, and so you can see all the existing fields are read only, means you cannot change those fields. So except there are certain properties which are allowed to change, so those can be changed. So anyhow, we will right click the fields, and there can we can add any new field of these data types. So we will definitely need a string, uh, string type. So just to name this field like amount in words. After this, then we can put a label and extended data type. So let me find if there is any existing data type with the amount. String can be, I think, the appropriate data type here, and it is holding, string size is 20 in this case. So we'll definitely need a bigger, string size instead of 20 characters. So what we can do is go to extended data type, and there is a free text extended data type, and let me check. Yeah, now this one is having string size of 255, because sometime amount in words definitely will exceed the 30 limit, which we don't need. So the string size 255 is enough, so we will use this one, and now our changes are okay. And one more thing is that in order for data to be table to be synchronized with db, we need to right click on the project property, and synchronize database on build option should be selected as true. So just make it, and then make a build, so that the new change of addition of field is synchronized with db. So it will take a while based upon scenario. Next, what we can do, we can go ahead in the report itself. There you can see multiple localizations. So we will be interested in the standard one. And you know, it is very rich in multiple containing multiple fields. So let's see how it looks. First of all, go ahead with the account receivable and open all free text invoice. Once this list page is open, so you can select any of existing one. Just on the document group and just open the original view. So this is the report format, and you can see here, you know, the total information is shown at the bottom, and lines information in this invoice, it was a single line, and there was certain you know, prepayment information. But the total is shown at the bottom. So this total amount we need to show in words. So definitely it will be at the bottom line we can input. So we will also find out, try to find out in the report layout in Visual Studio where this one is located. So if you can see this last line here, we can check the expression, invoice amount in euro, and this one is total, and then before that the currency code should be shown. Yeah, this one is cust invoice your currency code. So yeah, invoice round off is shown. So if you compare it with this one, so almost the same sequence is here. So it means this one, the correct line, we have picked it up. So after that you can see here there is a taxable balance, and I think these are conditionals. So what we can do, we will just add a row below this line, and yeah, this one is like we have added now, and for example we will type here amount in words. Basically we should use the label codes, but for demonstration I'm using the text. Just after this, you know, the text is little bit large, so what I will do, I will merge the cells, and then also I will right align it, and later on we can adjust it as well. I will make it a bold, and all these cells I will merge, and now we will check whether the field which we have added here, amount in words, this should be available in data set. Let me check the data set which is header footer in our case. It is not available now. So if I type even, it is not shown. It should be alphabetical, so amount in words should be shown at the top. So what I will do, I will just restore the data set. So any of the changes which you do on the table level, so that need to be reflected once you restore the data set itself. So once you restore, let me close the design itself because that is required. And now because if you restore the data set and design is still the previous one, so that's why for updates to take place, it is better to the close the design, and it will not go any forward if you don't close the design. So now you can see the field is available here, which will contain our value, and now you can let me now turn off the sync, because otherwise every time it will run the sync and it will decrease the performance. So we can just make sure that there is no error so far. We can make a build at this level, and we have not performed anything which should show us error, but it's better to build every time a new change is performed, so that at whatever stage you have left any error or any problem or syntax error, it will be right away, it will be shown to you. So build is completed now, and now I can go to the design itself. Please don't be afraid of this all the fields, but you need to take care about, I mean, not to mess up with anything, so that the whole design is disturbed. Even if you mess up, you can have a backup copy, or you can again duplicate it, and you can again perform the same changes. So going back to the text amount in words, the new field which we have just added a new row here. So I will open the expression here. Expression window will show equals sign afterwards. You can go at the bottom, fields of free text invoice DS. So in that one, I definitely free text invoice. Let me check. The name was not this one, and this was for lines. Yeah, this one for line. This one was for header. So what I will need to do is basically go to the data set, and in the free text invoice header footer DS, you need to just select here amount in word, double click it, and it will show like this one. So it means the first record of the header data set will be selected, and since it will be a single invoice, so we don't have to bother to and there will be definitely only one record in the header table itself, so there is no worry that only first record is selected. So the parameter of first will be, I mean, the field name itself, like this one, and then the data set name in the the inverted commas. So this is the syntax. So we have just now selected it, and you cannot see here, only expression syntax is shown. If you want to go back, so you can again open the expression window. So that's it, the changes have been performed here. Let me deploy this. So far there is no value, only the new field is added in the temporary table, and we have dropped the same field into the design of the report at the appropriate place. So instead of building, you can directly go ahead and deploy the report. It will definitely build and then deploy. So meanwhile it is deploying, let me go to the print management of free text invoice. You can refer to my previous video of print management, how to call your customized report, and in this case I will go to account receivable, and then in the setup group, in the forms group, I need to open the form setup. So before I go to this setup, I need to also create a delegate class. If you remember from my previous example, so delegate, no, not delegate, but event handler class, and that event handler will make use of the existing, the delegate, the class. So after that, this will be available in print management. So let me even show now. Even if you go to the print management, so in the free text invoice in the original, if you open this lookup, so it will only show the out of the box, the report. So in order to call our own design, so we will again repeat the exercise which we have already done. So uh, now the report is also deployed, but it will not be shown in print management until we have done this change, which is the event handler. Go ahead and type print management and document type. Yeah, this one is delegate class, and then this is one of the sample event handler for written for Italy, and this one is which we have wrote last time. You can just open the code here and just right click on the right hand side and add new item, and this item definitely will need to be a class. So just choose class here and give it an appropriate name like print management doc type, and then you need to type the object which is the pkr free text invoice in our case, and then you can make it like handler. So now the blank body of class is now placed. So go ahead with the existing one and copy this. In your case, you can follow, Italy example, or you can refer to my previous video training to write the event handler, or you can use this event handler Italy and then customize as per your requirement. Or if you like to write your own, then it's your choice. So what I will do, I will just copy this documentation and write access modifier which will be public in this case, and report layout for customer free text invoice. That's it. Now I can delete this one and this one as well, and this bracket I need to place afterwards. Now print management doc type, get default report format, delegate, and everything should be the same. Only what we'll do, what changes we need to do is just type a colon here and try to search the customer free text invoice in the existing enum values, so it can be might be free text. So it is basically sales free text invoice with this name, and now you can put your own the new name of the report, which is free text invoice, and the design is the same one, a report. So that's it, and just save it, and then just build the project. So the build is complete, and now I can Yeah, build is now complete. Now you can see the new name is appearing, so I will select this name of the custom report and just save it. And then what I can do, I can go ahead and go to account receivable, and in all free text invoices I can open the view of any existing one, and it should show me the new field. It is showing that it has not been it does not exist, so let me check again by deploying the report. It is showing me deploying RDL files for report has been failed. And what is the error? Yeah, actually the parameters, every time you restore data set, so additional parameters are added. So you need to just remove those parameter. And how to identify those additional parameter? You can just go ahead and check and compare with the existing report. So I will open the free text existing report, and first of all, we need to check the report level parameters instead of data set level because that is more easy. And you can see here this is the additional parameter inserted, and this one is already existing. And what about others? Rest of the ones are, I think, matching. And what about data set level? We have restored this header footer data set, so let me check here. Starting from bottom, yeah, I can see this one additionally added, and which was not required. So now this one is little bit technical, and because now we need to open the XML file and then remove it, because it will allow to remove from report level, which we can do. So for example, just right click and delete. It will delete the report level parameter, and it will exactly match now with the existing one. But what about dataset level? Dataset level will not be removed from here. So just you need to note down the name of the parameter, which is almost this one. Okay, and then right click the report itself and open with XML. You can open this XML text editor, save it. Yes. So the XML definition is now open. You can now search the text string which I have copied. So it is saying AX report dataset parameter, and this one is the correct one, and we need to remove the whole tag just to make sure that dataset name and dataset name should be visible. Just remove this, and actually it is saying suppress. That's it, and just save it. After saving, just open this again and check the data set itself, and it is gone. You can see it is now gone. So just you need to again deploy the report, and this time it should be successful because parameters are now matching. So just go ahead and deploy reports once again. So the deployment has now been successful, and now let's launch the report again. Report is now shown, and let me check my changes. Yeah, amount in words is shown but without any value. So now the second part will be, I mean, two parts we have done already to put the field inside the report and to create the field in the temporary table. The rest part, the last one is about the, the DP class changes, which is to calculate actually from the total amount the amount in words. So for that we can use the existing function as well, but we will use the chain of command in order to augment the existing class. So we will see that in this next part. So let's go ahead with the Visual Studio again. First we need to check the DP class itself, and DP class, to check which DP is behind this, is very easy. Just you can go to any of the data set, and here it is visible, free text invoice DP is there. So actually the name is easy, and by the way, the naming conventions given by Microsoft and which we should also obey and follow is very easy. Means free text invoice is the report, so definitely with the same name, the DP class, contract class, and controller, if they are existing, they will be there. So just type in the same report name, free text invoices, and you can see here the DP class is available. There are certain extensions already. You can also take an example from other extension as well, which people have written, and you can also follow if you like. It depends upon your choice. So in this one also, this is an extension. We can make use of the same signatures, and just right click and add a new class. Okay, and name it like free text invoice, and give the object name, which is pkr free text invoice. Okay, and then you can type in like extension, and this will be our chain of command class. And you can also type here dp, for example I have missed here, so and then we can make it public and final as well. And if I have changed it here, so similarly I can change my the file name also. Just save it. So now I will just write this one extension of so I will just copy it here, because this will be extension of our dp class. Actually it is not an extension, it is a chain of command pattern, but the method the way it should be in the same way. So once we have done that, then what we can do, we first have to identify where our business logic is being calculated. For that identification we need to explore our existing dp class. So that is very important, and then whatever the method is being used, then you can copy the signature of the method. So just go ahead with free text invoice dp and just first try to find it out. You can see here there are certain populate method and insert method are also there. Insert into free text invoice, this is line information, and then this is the header information, and there can be some initialize also. Let me check. So initialize populate, this one, populate free text invoice header footer temp. So I think from here we can pick it up, and then we'll trace where it goes any further. So you can also see on the right hand side, you can see the body or signature of the method itself. But it's better to open this as a view code, and then search the same name. What was the name here? Populate free text invoice header temp. So just copy this. You can see here also the temporary table is declared, and then it must have been used also. You can also search this name, and it will show you where it is being populated. This is one of the method. So but we will use our own guess. So here generate invoice header localization. No, this is not the one. You can also type here a bracket. Populate free text invoice header. Yeah, this one is the correct method. So you can see everything, the assignments and everything is being done in this method. So what we'll do, we will just copy the signature of the method and go ahead with our chain of command class, and just paste here and end with the curly brackets. So in this one, how they have used the pattern, so the same method is being used here, and then what it has done, referring to the same the class, the param method is being called, and it is assigning a local variable the temporary table buffer, and then it is setting any values, and then it is returning the same temporary table to the param method. In this way we can do it, and you can also copy paste the same from here, and go to your the this one is our class. I will just paste it at the bottom, and so what I will do, I will do few changes, like it is also conditional, it is checking certain features which I don't need here, and I just need this one. This will not work here. Delete almost everything, only keep this one, and just copy, cut this, save, and so in this way, chain of command, the pattern is complete. Basically the class need to be final, and the method need to be I mean the signature should be the same as the actual class, the parameter names and return type. Now it is void here, there is no return variable. So inside that, then you can call this keyword next, and with the same the method name and the parameters which are being passed. So it will check for additional logic to be executed, and then we need to change these lines as well. So just let me. So I think this method is inside that class itself rather than parent. So let me just copy this parent method, and you can remove this w suffix, and rest is okay. So then I can also remove w suffix here, and so now the thing is, yep, again, amount inverse, and I can input like amount inverse here in order for compiler to pass at least. So now we will explore one more feature that is called a global class. In global class, there are useful many useful functions are defined, and among which there is numerals to the text for functions, plus there are so many other features which you can explore for your own purpose. So here you can see numerals to text in English and Spanish, French, and there are so many other with other suffix or other languages are available. So we can make use of this, and plus there are like number to text, number to string, and there are multiple other functions which we can use here. So we will make use of this global class, and these are all static method. Static method means whatever no need of instantiation of the class, and directly you can pass parameter and get the results in return value. So what we'll do now, we will just refer here, the cust invoice jar contains our invoice amount field, which is of type of real, and we will pass this to our global class that I will show you. Global, if you put scope resolution operator, two times colons, so it will show the any of the methods available. So numerous to text, and I will make use of English here. But you can pass, based upon the current language, you can pass that one. So this will be my, so it will return an string type, which will definitely fit with this one, amount in words. So that's it, guys, and now the same table buffer will be again assigned to the, let me once more open it because it is hiding most of the text. So this is our overall chain of command plus global function which is used, and again it is passed to the param method, which is actually assigning to the temporary table buffer. Let me compile this project. So it's saying build is completed. So let's try now and just close the additional items. So there is nothing shown in the report. So let me restart SQL services. You can check, and now the report is showing the amount inwards 8,580. So and then pennies are also shown. So, but the indentation is little bit disturbed, and that we need to adjust. We will go ahead to our design, and then this was our text, and let me make it left aligned and amount inverse. Let me size 8, make it a little bit enlarged, that is 10 size, and make it bold. And also if you can go to the text box properties, so there is some in the alignment, the left align padding is there. We need to follow whatever is existing. So anyhow, let's check. Now you can see the changes, and it looks far better. 268 and 13 pennies are also shown in this one. Amount inverse is also shown, and you can also add borders, or you can add any spaces, up to you. So anyhow, we have checked in all of this video small change which we did in our report, and the change was like numerics into words value of that invoice need to be printed. And what we did, there was three steps basically. One was, to create a space where we can store our value, that was in temporary table, and we need to pick the correct one, and then we created a field in that table, and extended with the, that field with the EDT. That EDT must contain, I mean, the characters limit which we can hold. And then of course we use an ADT which was holding, I think, 255 characters. And afterwards then we restore the data set in our existing report, which was free text invoice, so that the new field should appear in our data set. Once it was appearing, then we drag and drop that field into our accurate place where we actually need it. In that we compared existing report while it was running with the design in Visual Studio, so that we can find the correct place. Once we have placed that, so two steps we have done. Now the actual step, which was the first step, which was actual calculation or pop population of that field, because only a blank field we cannot display somewhere, so we need to have certain value into that. For that purpose, we have used an existing method which converts a numeric into words, and we can write our own as well the method if that works in your own scenario. But it is up to you. You can maximum time you will be reusing the existing libraries or the code available in the system, and you can make use of that. And that's it, guys, and I hope you have enjoyed it. And it was a small change, but it took us, there is a lots of effort, and of course that need to be logical, sequencing of the events, and we can correlate each of the event what it will do. So I will appreciate if you give any value, any of your valuable feedback, and if you have any questions, please put in your comments. Thank you, guys. Take care.